No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, here we are. How we doing? We are live. I'm going to fix the camera once you guys start talking, but we got Matt Bauscher, we got Travis Hawkes, we got Boise State basketball tonight. That sounds good to say.
Season opener. Man, it feels good to say those words.
Really excited to talk basketball. Questioning the timing, because I don't know if you remember last year when we did our basketball preview, it was the day after Andy was fired. This year, it's just the day after the election.
Yeah.
Like BJ's just bringing us in on slow news days 2 years in a row.
Everybody up all night, right at it, talking basketball. It's a good time.
Yeah, we'll get into it. BJ's doing some sort of tech support here,
and I'm excited.
Blaming us, blaming the guests.
You know that there's never ever been a home opener where we've had a really good crowd since I can remember, ever. And we're talking sold out.
Is it sold out?
I was told it's basically sold out.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
You got a sold out arena on a Wednesday school night in November against Oakland.
Unbelievable.
I mean, that's special. Season tickets are gone too, so. You factor in season tickets and students, you got over 10,000 gone every game.
Unbelievable.
I mean, what do you make? Is it just the team's success last year? Is it just football rolling into basketball? I mean, what do you, I mean, there was times where Leon would, we joke about all the stunts he had to do, and I've ripped on students, fans, whatever. Like, why do you think Oakland all of a sudden, the first game here is the game everybody wants to come to?
I mean, Oakland beat Kentucky in the NCAA tournament last year, but I don't think the fans are that educated to know it's a pretty big game. I think it's more familiar faces with Tyson coming back and Omar coming back and some familiar faces, and obviously what Leon's built and 3 tournaments in a row, and then you factor in the first time ever we're picked to win the league. I think it's a combination of all that.
Yeah, I think it's 2 things. I think, first of all, absolutely just huge excitement for this basketball team and this basketball season. Fans realize that this is going to be a really good team, and they're excited. But I also think there's something bigger going on where we are at a tipping point with Boise State. And when you look at what's happening in the national narrative, being number 12 in the college football playoff standings, every football game being sold out, North End Zone project ready to break ground. The coaches we have with Spencer and Leon, I just think we're at a tipping point with Boise State, and excitement is at a level that we haven't seen since the Kellen Moore era, and I think we are eclipsing that because of the playoff access, because of Ashton Genty, and because of Jeremiah Dickey and what's also happening on the fundraising, standpoint, and the facility improvements and the Pac-12 invitation. I mean, amazing everything that's going on. Yeah, amazing. I mean,
you talk about Gonzaga's now in our conference, and they beat Baylor by 40 the other night. And then, I think it's a combination, all of it, supply and demand in anything. The demand is so high for tickets, not only in football, but now basketball, that people want to get lower. They want to get lower, and the ticket, eventually there's just no more seats. And I never thought we'd have that issue that the arena is too small.
Yeah, I think that is part of what's going on with the basketball season tickets selling out, is people are looking at this season. They know we're going to be really good, favored to win a great conference, but also looking at the Pac-12 in 2 seasons, having Gonzaga, having that conference. I think they're, right now it's like the 4th best. It would be the 4th best basketball conference in the country. And so people are smart and realizing, man, if I don't get my season tickets now, I may never have a chance to get season tickets. And so I think that's another thing that's going on here. And Gonzaga joining the Pac-12, and the quality of basketball conference that's going to be. And it's, I think, still going to get better. I think when we see who else ends up in the end being added to the Pac-12, I think it's an even better basketball conference than it is today.
People said, stop, you're giving me chills. People are excited.
Let's go.
A couple of things I do want to mention off the top. First of all, condolences to you, Matt, on your mother. And I know I heard all kinds of folks said it was just a tremendous day and ceremony last week. So I just wanted to make sure I publicly say condolences to your mother on that.
It was special. I had a lot of people reach out, and she's in a better place, and the family and the loved ones have been a rock for me and my family. So greatly appreciate all the condolences, all the cards, all the messages. Boise State Athletics did some really special things for me for that, and that was pretty neat.
Oh yeah, I heard it was a tremendous outing and day, and unfortunately couldn't be there because Travis and I were entertaining the Circa folks that day. And Travis, I wanted to bring that up briefly because I do have some B-roll to play, and while we play this, we're going to slide the couch about a foot that way, so while no one's watching. But tell us, Travis, about this day. You got it set up with the Circa guys came in town, and it was a tremendous day. You helped with lunch, you helped take care of these guys. We had a tremendous outing, tremendous day. They're coming up. Just got to say thank you for helping out with that.
Yeah, to help. I mean, it's been a great relationship with Boise State fans and the Circa, and obviously they're big supporters of Bronco Nation News, and I love that. You love that, but I can't tell you how impressed I was with their crew. Just as people who sincerely wanted to meet people, get to know people, show love to this community, spending some time with Derek Stevens, which was really the first time I had spent time with him. It's clear why he's such a successful business person, just with the way he goes about things, and it was great. We spent some great time with them, and that was a big deal for, I think, if I remember right, I think every person on that plane, BJ, it was their first time ever in Boise.
Wow.
And, people don't understand sometimes the domino effect those types of things have as they talk about Boise to other people. And we see that all the time on the business side as people come to Boise for the first time and they're like, what's like, your downtown is so clean and safe and nice and, great food and all these things. And it was awesome having those guys in. So appreciate you putting that together.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. This was the coolest part, maybe, where he had the betting slips. And I know he gave you guys some too, but he literally made $100 betting tickets for Ashton, for the Heisman, some other stuff, was passing it out to random fans. I mean, it was just a cool day. And I know you guys have both stayed there before, and pretty cool. Yeah. We'll continue the relationship with them moving forward. All right. So I had it better, but then now, okay, I'm getting closer.
I don't know what you're upset, like what you're worried about. It seems like it looks fine, but I did get a betting slip, BJ, and I did get the Ashton Genty to win the Heisman, 6-1, $100 bet. So if Genty wins the Heisman, I get $700 when I go back to the Circa.
He'll need a big game on Saturday. We'll get I want to talk football. While we're there, the rankings. What do you think, Travis?
I think just great respect for Boise State. I think most people were surprised. They started out at number 12. The schedule really worked out, obviously, with being able to play Oregon and lose that game on the last play of the game, and they're number 1. But also Washington State, we were talking about them before we came on the air here, being at number 21. We need the Ducks to continue to play well. We need Washington State to continue to play well. And then obviously you need Boise State to play well.
Yeah.
And it's a great situation where we control our own destiny. It feels like so many years with chasing the BCS games, we were like, this team needs to lose. This team needs to lose. We need to move up in the rankings, whatever. It's obviously very clear. If we win the rest of our games, we're in the playoff.
Yeah. In the playoff, no doubt. I mean, some people are saying to get that bye, I think BYU would have to have one loss and we would have to win convincingly.
Which is not that far-fetched. They're not going. I don't know if they're going undefeated or not.
I don't think. I mean, they could lose Saturday.
We would have to convincingly win every game to jump a one-loss BYU team,
which I think could very easily happen. I think you keep winning. I don't know if they'll give them a home game or not, but all you got to do is win a couple more teams lose. You get to number 8, you get a home game on the blue. I don't think that's probably happening, Travis, but it's certainly possible.
Can you imagine the insanity in this town if we were hosting a college football playoff game and the demand for those tickets?
Tennessee come into the blue or something like that?
Oh my gosh.
Tennessee's just like us. They're one of 4 schools in the country who've gone to 3 NCAA tournaments and 3 bowl games in the last 3 years. There's only 4 schools. Wow. That's Tennessee, Alabama, and I forget the 4th one.
I think some of the great home games, energy-wise, like when Oregon came here, some of those BYU games, when TCU came here, et cetera, and this would just blow all that out of the water.
It'd be the most hyped game ever in the city of Boise.
No question.
I think they got a lot of respect. I saw some people saying, I wish they were higher. Like, I was thinking they're going to be 15 or 16. I was thinking some of these LSU, Texas A&M 2-loss teams were going to be ahead of them. So I thought the fact that they got number 12 and have a spot, the actual number 12, we knew they'd be seeded 12, maybe, but now they're really close to moving up. I actually thought that was a lot of respect for them.
I agree, huge. And yeah, it's funny how many people don't understand how the seeding works and don't understand we have a legit chance to be the number 4 seed. And that also, it's as great as hosting a game would be, having a first round bye and then advancing to the second round would be incredible.
I would personally probably rather host a game.
Yeah, I think most
sounds crazy than getting a bye, but I think hosting a game would be more monumental for our team.
I was talking about some people that we'll see what the folks on the chat say. Let us know. Would you rather host a game on the blue or get the bye? I guess the question is, do you think you have a realistic chance of actually winning it all? Or do you if this is your year where you actually have a chance of winning it all, most teams would say, you know what? Yes, let's take the bye. That's our best chance. You get rid of a game. You stay healthy for an extra week. But you're Boise State. It's the first year in the playoff. Like, part of this is history already. To get to have the experience of having a home playoff game on your field.
We got to get the 8 seed, right?
Whether that 9? It'd have to be 5 through 8. Yep.
Yeah, 5 through 8.
Get the 8 seed. We're hosting a game.
Yeah. Do you think if we hosted a game and won, they would tear down the goalposts?
Oh, for sure.
Throw it in the
Has that ever happened at Boise State before?
Yeah. The time I remember it happening was when we beat Idaho in 93 or right when the year we went to the national championship game. That's the last time. We need Tom Scott to weigh in, but that was the last time I remember the tearing down of the goalposts.
Everybody said they'd have 5 in a row. First 5 responses all would rather have the bye, they said. So I don't know. I think you're making history already. Put that, because they'd make that the first game too on that Friday night and have and on the blue field and everybody watching that and how cool that would be. And then if you win that game, then you get to go to the Fiesta Bowl and have a chance against whoever it would be in that game. And how about playing BYU at some point again too? That would be quite cool.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
All right, Matt, I'm really bugged by this camera angle, so I'm going to fix it in a second. But congratulations to you. You're part of the Boise State home team now, by the way. So maybe just give us a rundown of what that entails and what you guys got going on with Bauscher Real Estate. I was telling people we bought and sold our home using you and your team, and whether it was Kelly, Cade, Sarah, the whole team. You're so specialized every step of the way. And I know a lot of folks just think you deal with the huge, $1 million homes, which you do, and you do a great job at. But any size home, you're ready to help people out. And I know you're continuing to pour back into, you've done a lot with the donations and stuff to Boise State, but now being part of the home team officially, I know is a big deal for you.
Yeah, we're all in with Boise State, and everybody on my team behind me, as you got to experience firsthand, they're incredible people. They're the people that make the machine move, and we're all in with Boise State. And my investment is, and I think everybody's business investment is, investing in Boise State gets a good return on investment. I mean, you imagine all the out-of-state parents that come and trust their kid to go to Boise State. Then they see our city, they see how clean it is, and then what happens? The economy, the hotels, the restaurants, my business, your business, everybody's businesses benefit by Boise State.
No question. And that's, it's back to what I was talking about earlier with the tipping point. And part of that tipping point does have to do with the city, with the Valley, and the fact that we have such a strong economy, that great jobs are being, created here, that there's all these good things happening. I was meeting with someone last week that moved to Boise from another state and is a very successful software founder / entrepreneur. And he is starting a brand new software company. He's previously one he exited from, and he wants to build it in Boise. First goal, hire 10 engineers for his company, here in Boise, in person jobs. So we hear those kinds of stories all the time, and it all folds together of what Boise State does to impact the Valley and the state. And then also with all the great things happening in the Valley, how that helps Boise State.
I don't think I've ever felt more confident in the leadership in Boise State.
Oh, no question.
We brag about Dickey all the time, but the fact that he has what he's done with very little money compared to a lot of the competition, it's honestly, it's surprising. It's admirable. It shocks me that we're competing at this level.
Yeah, I think that we, hopefully Boise State fans recognize and appreciate what's happening right now. Don't take it for granted in that you have Leon Rice, just a, elite basketball coach, and what they've done to raise the talent level, to raise the performance, all of that. You have Spencer Danielson that obviously is just incredible, and you see how this team loves him and plays for him. And then, Jeremiah, Cody, the athletic department, I mean, they're 10 out of 10, and what they're doing is incredible. And I mean, here we are, we're talking about all these great things that have happened and are happening. We haven't even mentioned the 33rd largest donation in the history of college athletics, $25 million. And even without that, they had already produced the biggest fundraising year in the history of Boise State. And now you just add 25 million to it.
Yeah, it's almost like when everything's going your way and you're riding, nothing can go wrong. It kind of feels like we're on that train right now. And, people don't like to talk about money, but a lot of people, every single person we're talking about could make a lot more money leaving. Dickey, Leon, Spencer,
Ashton Genty,
Tyson Degenhardt, Omar Stanley turned down big money. I mean, these guys could 3-4x what they're getting. I mean, I went to the University of Washington game, and you go to some of these games and some of these coaches, I mean, they're making multiples and multiples and multiples of what our head coaches are making across the board, and we're getting much, much better results.
No question. I think it speaks to the culture that's been created. And you look at someone like Ashton staying because he believed in what was being built here, believed in Spencer, believed in Boise State and this town. And in the end, he looks really smart, right? Yeah. Because he's in the middle of this Heisman race, having one of the greatest seasons in the history of college football. Would that have happened if he was at Alabama, splitting time with someone? It's hard to think it would, right? And so he looks smart, but still for a kid that age to pass up 7 figures to stay here is pretty incredible.
It really is, and it's rare, and it's definitely not the standard. It's outside the box. And talking about basketball tonight, I'm so excited for our point guard, who we haven't had a point guard like him in a long time, and I've gone to all the games. He is so good. He's so sharp, and the fans are going to absolutely fall in love with Cardenas.
I honestly, I don't think the fans know what's coming.
They don't know what's coming. I mean, him in practice, he has eyes in the back of his head, and he's tough as nails. That's what I love. He'll get in people's face. He's tough, but he leads, and he's what the missing piece that we've had if he's on our team last year, we beat Colorado hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even, and he's had 88 starts. So it's not like we only have him for 1 year.
Yep.
But he's already, I can't wait for him to feel the arena tonight after playing in front of 800 fans for the last 4 years.
He was saying that yesterday when I talked to him, and the people can read the story I wrote about him at BroncoNationNews.com. So thanks for the plug.
There we go.
But he just said, yeah, fans in general. He's not used to having fans. He said when he was shaking a couple of our media guys' hands that he had never even done that. He's never done like a media interview before the game like that, because he goes, sometimes after a game, they'll bring a player in and we would say something on the camera, because I've never done an actual like big scrum like this the day before a game. He said he's never experienced anything like this. He's never played with the kind of players that he's playing with. And I talked to Leon and basically said, like, do you just expect this to energize him, elevate his game, to put him in a situation? They talk about it in, baseball playoffs, whatever. A guy gets traded into a pennant race at the end of the season and just fires him up, and he has a huge, September taste in that championship. And I mean, San Jose State went 2-16 last year in conference play, 2-16, and it had to be so tough later in the season, especially. But for him to now come into this situation where it's a realistic goal of not just getting to the tournament, but making a run, I would suspect you're going to, and again, I know diehards know how good he is, but he was at San Jose State, so it's hard for people, I think, to go, oh, great, they got the point guard from a team that went 2-16 at San Jose State. I think once you see what he can do with these guys, he can shoot. And again, it always sounds like we're, ripping on Roddy Anderson, and that's not the point. They're different types of players, but at times, just what Leon and what Duryea and what they want to do in this team, I don't think that Roddy was the perfect fit at times, and it just didn't quite fit. And I think Cardenas, what he can do in the pick and roll and some of the other stuff, and the big thing is he can shoot. You can't double some of these guys because he's going to be, he's a threat to shoot the 3-point shot, which they haven't had in a couple of years, at least last year at the outside. And I think that just changes everything.
And our team's so deep this year. We've always complained that everybody has to play 35 minutes. We're tired. You don't trust the bench. Leon's hardest, Leon, Bernsey, Berto, Tim, their hardest decision is going to be who gets those 200 minutes. And every year I write down there's only 200 minutes that people are fighting and clawing for. And you take, the big three, you take Cardenas, Omar, and Tyson, that's going to be 90 to 100 minutes every game. So you have 100 to 110 minutes for the others that are all playing incredible basketball. I think it'll be different nights, different people, but they're going to be exciting to watch, and we won't have to worry about foul trouble or any of that this year.
I think that will be the biggest challenge, which is a great challenge to have, right? It's a great problem to have, but I think when you look at the team, the difference between, the number 5 guy and the number 9 guy, there's not much difference. And so how do you distribute those minutes, I think will be difficult. But this is what I'm going to say is this team is built for March. And when you look at teams that are successful in the NCAA tournament, they get great point guard play. They traditionally are experienced players. And when you look at the seniors we have on the team this year, and then we have size and we have depth. Yep. So we've had good teams. The last 3 years have been good teams. But this team, if they stay healthy and if they maintain that unbreakable culture, the ceiling on this team is far greater than any team we've had here.
And I know you guys both were involved in helping with the NIL game in terms of Dylan Anderson and Javen Buchanan. And I know some folks in this community really stepped up to make that happen. And I think a lot of people say, okay, and again, we'll get to the tournament success, all that in a minute, but you just look at it on paper, NAIA, All-American, All-American, great stats, but the detractors are going to say NAIA player, and then Dylan Anderson, a kid who in 2 years, redshirted 1 year and then barely saw the court at Arizona. But I think these coaches deserve the benefit of the doubt in terms of what they've done with an Abo. Abo had 2 points a game at Texas Tech. They bring him in. Abu Kijab, 1.5 points or whatever it was at Oregon. They bring him in. We saw what he does. These guys obviously can identify talent. So I think at the time, it maybe didn't necessarily look the sexiest or fire people up when you hear about, oh, this is the big addition they're getting, NAIA, or oh, this guy. But you look at how they fit in. You've seen them play. I know in the Washington game, I think Buchanan had like 16 points or the scrimmage. It sounds like both these guys are going to be big time players for him. And you add them in with Cardenas and then Stanley and Degenhardt. I mean, that's a pretty formidable starting 5. But I know Buchanan and Anderson in particular, I'm looking forward to seeing them tonight. And those are probably 2 guys along with Cardenas, even though we've seen him though. These 2 guys I think are going to be, and maybe Ugbo too, coming off the bench, but those 2 I think are going to be where most fans are looking to see, okay, has this team got a chance to be, just really good, or does this team have a chance to be great and elite?
And their mentality is so incredible because every day they're taking it one day at a time. I mean, the expectations have never been higher in the history of Boise State basketball. There has never been higher expectations than for this team. It's Tyson's last year. I mean, there's going to be some tears when that man walks on center court during senior night. Everything he's done for our community, everything he's done for our university, the program. I mean, you couldn't build an avatar of what more you'd want from a college basketball athlete, student athlete, than Degenhart. And I think that's a lot to do with the season tickets, accumulation, all of it. But the expectations are high. I mean, the expectations are to win the regular season in a really, really tough conference, win the conference tournament in Vegas, and make some noise in March Madness. I mean, if they don't accomplish, two of those three things, and especially the NCAA tournament, I think they're going to feel like, it wasn't as high of success as they wanted. And, talking about that in November is almost comical because they just got to win tonight. But I mean, the expectations are high.
And doesn't it seem like, Travis, though? I mean, I thought it was last year. I thought it was storybook for Max Rice. I thought they'd win that game. He'd be a part of that and go out. But I mean, if there was ever a way to script it out, and again, I know it's not a fairy tale. It's not like that. Life's not fair sometimes. But if there was ever a way, Tyson, his 4 years, all 4 years, senior year, finally getting that, first win and getting the all-time leading scorer. I thought that was cool. They had him and Tanaka Beard at practice the other day and gave him a jersey and they got to talk. And but I mean, again, I know it's not they don't write it up like that. You got to go play the games. But if there was ever a way to draw it out, Tyson as a senior breaking that streak would certainly be like it makes sense and seems fitting at this point.
Yeah, no question. And I don't think anyone is going to duck from those expectations. The expectations are to win the conference and win games in the NCAA tournament this year. And again, this team is built to do that. Back to, what you were saying, BJ, with the offseason. I mean, the coaches, you have to give them so much credit. I mean, Cardenas was their number one target, and they got that done. You look at Anderson, who, was Mark Few was all in on this guy, full scholarship, the guy when he was coming out of high school. This is the future Gonzaga. And then when Arizona made the coaching change, he ended up at Arizona. I mean, that's just a huge get. And we're talking about a guy that, is a 7-footer with that kind of heritage and we're not even counting on him to be one of the key guys because we have, Tyson and Omar, et cetera. So this team is built for March. And I think, you brought up Tanaka, BJ. I was at the Hall of Fame induction dinner Saturday night, and it was pretty amazing because, Tanaka's inducted. He's the all-time leading scorer at Boise State. That, that record is held for, 40 years or whatever it is. Also, Brock Forsey is inducted, who's the all-time touchdown leader at Boise State. That has held for a very long time. We're in a position where both of those long-standing records are going to go down this year. Should go down.
Both are number 2. They wear the jersey.
They both wearing the jersey number 2, and so it just goes back to just what a great time to be a Bronco fan that we're seeing these historic seasons and historic careers. And the final seasons of historic careers with both Ashton and Tyson. And
Tyson playing more at the 3, I think, this year, too. I think you mentioned those 4 and 5, but I think Tyson, the last couple of years, I know he's a better outside shooter than he's shown. He's had to play the center a lot and do some weird things. I think that with Stanley, but it's like you said, with Anderson, is going to let Tyson more kind of play his game. And I think this is the best year of Tyson's career this year.
I agree. I agree with Tyson for sure. And I'm going back to a memory. I still remember coming back from Europe and playing with the guys and getting the announcement that they were going in the Mountain West. And I remember just beating them up saying, you guys have no chance in the Mountain West. You are going to get destroyed. And Leon tells me a story like he went out there in pregame and it's his first year in the Mountain West. And he looks down there and he looks at his team and he looks at their team and he's like, oh boy,
we might not win a game in this league. Yeah.
He said we might not win a game in the bar. I mean, they've just clawed for 14 years to raise the standard to now the expectation is to win the league and make noise in the NCAA tournament. And the staff works so hard behind the scenes. I mean, they're flying all over the place, meeting guys, all hours on the phone, recruiting, clawing to get this talent that we see.
Yeah, well, like you said, they got back from losing to Colorado at 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was. They had the charter flight after they lost that game. And Alvaro Cardenas tells the story that that very next day, like the day after they lost the game, they got back and somehow Mike Burns found a flight the next hour or got a ride from somebody. And Mike Burns was in San Jose having lunch with Alvaro Cardenas the afternoon right after they lost to Colorado. And Cardenas right away was like, all right, if you're already here, I must be important to you. And that's why he wanted to, that was one of the main reasons he wanted to come.
I have goosebumps right now because it would be very easy to say, I've had a long season. I'm going to go enjoy my family. I'm going to go home. I'm going to rest. We just got here. If he doesn't get on that flight and go meet Cardenas, somebody else does. And we don't have that point guard. I mean, that's a sacrifice these guys are making.
No question. Speaks to what they're doing, what they're building, their commitment. And, going back to what you're saying about Tyson playing the 3 and the season he's going to have, I think the other piece is with Cardenas and how many wide open shots is Tyson going to get because of how good Cardenas is at passing and understanding spacing on the floor. Yep. And how many times is Tyson just going to do a back cut, be alone under the basket and get a layup because of that? And another thing we haven't mentioned yet is Tyson's on preseason All-American lists. I mean, we have a chance for him to not only break the all-time scoring record, not only be part of the greatest season in Boise State basketball history, but he can be an All-American.
A lot of comments, questions coming in that I want to get to. Somebody says only thing that worries me is a 3-point shooting. No Max, no Buzo scares me. I'll get you guys' thoughts on that. But I think the point you bring up about getting open shots for Tyson, I think that was part of the reason at times Max struggled last year. And again, it always comes back to a ripping on Roddy Anderson. That's not the point. He's going to go to Xavier and he can score, he can do some things. But for this offense, this team, he just wasn't the perfect fit. I don't think that's some big indictment of Roddy Anderson. But with that, and I think that was part of the reason is he just, when Max Rice had that big year 2 years ago, was that Shaver or whoever it was getting him all these open shots, and that just didn't happen as much last year. And you didn't have as many open looks for guys like Max. And so I do wonder, if Cardenas can help elevate some of those guys and get them some open shots and open looks and things like that. But the outside shooting, I think we all expect Andrew Meadow to take a next step. You got RJ Keene. We've heard about some of the freshmen and other guys. Where are you on the outside shooting and who's kind of just going to be that just lethal outside sharpshooter this year? And don't forget Cardenas he's not going to be the main shooter, but he's a pretty solid 3-point option as well.
Everybody on the team, in my opinion, can shoot the 3-point shot. I mean, even in the game against University of Washington, Dylan was hitting threes. I mean, he's a 7-footer that can shoot it. But the great thing is the court's going to be so spread because you're going to have to help. JB Buchanan, he posts up. He's a big body. He's 6'7", 225. He can play back to the basket. You're going to have to help in. Tyson goes to work inside. Omar goes to work. You're going to have to dig. There's going to be closeouts. They're going to be able to attack it. And we're going to get open shots. Last year, they just didn't lead Max. They said, hey, I'm just going to stay on you. Somebody else has to create and score. And we weren't able to do that. We struggled to score at times.
Yeah, you mentioned that's 3-4 guys that could post you up, do different things. Somebody else was asking about the rotation, and that is one of the things. If you want to be, if you're a detractor of Leon, or you want to look at some criticism that he's gotten fair or unfairly, but he likes to pick his main 5 or 6, 7 guys and stick with them and ride them, and obviously they're the best players. They deserve to play. They're the ones that are going to play. But some people will say, and he even said last year he hoped to do it and just never got to it. But developing more of a bench, playing more guys, spreading out the minutes a little bit. You talked about that earlier, Matt. But what do you think in terms of guys 6 through 8, 6 through 9? Are they ready to, you guys think, push for minutes? And what do you make of just to get more of a rotation this year?
I think it's hard. Like, it's easy to sit on the sidelines and say we need to play the bench more. It's also hard to sit Tyson and Omar and Cardenas, right, and have them sitting on the bench. But that being said, we clearly have a lot of depth, and these guys are going to play. And another guy we haven't even mentioned yet is Julian Bowie from Idaho. And this is a guy that's ready to play. And, last year he played here, a little plug in the Pro Image Sports Holiday Classic. And I saw him playing against Corona Centennial, which is one of the top programs in the country, playing against, kids with offers to Duke in Arizona. And he looked equal, if not better, to those kids. And so he has that, that college mentality, readiness, body to come in and contribute. And we truly have 9-10 guys that can play this year. So it is going to be a challenge. I think Leon's going to play the bench. I think that he'll be able to carve off some minutes of those guys at the top, which will keep them fresher. I just think the biggest challenge is who is 6 and 7 and who's 9 and 10, because, you know, the 9 and 10 aren't getting many minutes.
Yeah, I call Julian Jules, and boy, is he physically ready.
Yes.
I mean, his body's ready. His mentality's ready. He doesn't back down. And him going against Cardenas in practice, his improvement is just going like this, and it's only going to get better.
Forget about Chris Lockett either. We haven't mentioned
Lockett.
him.
We haven't even mentioned Lockett. I mean, Lockett, player of the year, you know, in Louisiana, and his body has completely transformed. He's ready. And then you got Meadow, who's taken more shots than anybody in the offseason. And when he shoots, when he misses, everyone's surprised. I mean, that's how good of lethal three-point shooter he is. I mean,
I still think there's more from Keene than we haven't seen yet.
Oh, totally. And then the crazy thing is every single player is completely different. There's no two similar players. You look at Lockett or JB or Jules or Cardenas, no one has the same game. They all give something different depending on matchups, depending on tempo and all that. But the fans are in for a treat. I can tell you that. Tonight's going to be a nice kickoff.
Yeah, I think the fans are going to be amazed seeing these new guys and what they can do. And I'm really excited to see more of Lockett. One of the things that stood out to me talking to Leon after the season was he said that Lockett could have played last year. You know, when they made the decision early on,
They know the season. They almost pulled his red shirt.
So they decided to redshirt him. They weren't sure if he'd be ready or not. You know, at the beginning of the season, they decided to redshirt him. But by midseason, when they considered that, he was ready. If he would have not been redshirting, he would have been in the rotation last year. And now he's had another summer and another fall to get even better. So it's going to be exciting.
I think Ugbo too. I'm excited to see this guy. He was a guy I'd get there, you know, 2.5 hours before the game to get set up for my pregame show and stuff. And the gym would be empty, and there'd be David Moats doing a workout with Ugbo, and he would be just dripping in sweat, working harder than anyone you've seen. And he's just a physical specimen when you look at just his body type and what he can do in terms of his effort and his intensity. And, you know, I think he's a guy that's played professional ball or has some experience overseas. You know, he may get 5, 8, 10 minutes a game to start out with. I don't know, but as a backup big, a guy that's going to come in, play some defense, rebound for you. I think Ugbo is an interesting guy as well. Ugbo
looks bigger and stronger than any NFL tight end. I mean, this guy is when they see him, I mean, he's a beast. He really is. And he can shoot, and he's athletic, and he's a great teammate. He's the first guy high-fiving people.
So he reminds me, if you think about those really good San Diego State teams, and we'd play him, and then all of a sudden, you know, the 8th, 9th guy off the bench, and you're like, who is this guy? If he was here, he'd be starting.
Yes.
And he's coming off the bench at San Diego State as like their third option.
Yes.
And that is him. He's going to come off the bench, and people are going to be like, he would be starting at a lot of schools in our conference.
No question.
One of the storylines is no Max Rice. And if you both have been around this program for a long time, and Max is actually back in town, he's going to come on our pregame show tonight. So 6 o'clock BNN pregame show. We'll be live from Extra Mile Arena showing you warm-ups and getting you set for tip-off. And Max is going to join us. Abe Jackson will join us. Looking forward to that. But, I mean, love, you know, again, he was a polarizing figure just because of who he was, his dad, whatever, but you knew he was going to get his 35, 36 minutes a game, you know, for better or for worse. And a lot of times it was for better. I mean, I don't think he got nearly the credit he probably deserved, but no Max Rice. And I guess, you know, those minutes obviously are going to be distributed, and that's going to be interesting, but just not having him around on the court is certainly going to, you mentioned Tyson next year and what that's going to be like. I think for a lot of fans, for Leon, for everybody in this program, not seeing Max Rice out there is going to take a little time getting used to as well.
I love Max. He played so hard at all times and high basketball IQ, but you know, in full honesty here, like there was a level of just angst that added because he's the coach's son, and that's not Leon's fault. That's not Max's fault. Max deserved to play. He's a great player, but it added this extra layer of angst with fans who he was polarizing. And so you have fans kind of arguing with fans. You have fans arguing with BJ on Twitter.
Max arguing with me.
Max arguing with you. But it is like when a player has a bad game and he's still in and he's the coach's son, like that's just different than when he's not. I mean, we saw this when Cody Hawkins was the quarterback at Colorado. Like it's just different. And I think that actually will remove kind of a layer of pressure from this year's team.
Leon will probably not admit this, and I'm not even talking on the court, but just off the court, that whole thing where he was the first guy, easiest. There were times people would say stuff on Twitter. I mean, Max had nothing to do with it, but he was just the easiest one to
easy
target, first one to say. And I don't think Leon would ever admit it publicly. Maybe if you get him in a corner somewhere, but I just think that just not having to deal with that part of it and the criticism, whether it was fair, unfair, not having to worry about those minutes, not having to, again, on the court, I think it's a loss. I really do. I know some people, whatever, but I in terms of just leadership, and there's a lot of things you lose with Max Rice, but just that one part of it, that the mental criticism, fans, not having to deal with any of that and not having to justify minutes, anything, not having to answer questions about it. I think Leon can, that's the one maybe positive from that, is he can not have to deal with all that, Matt.
There's added pressure. I mean, I got a game Friday night for my daughter, 4th grade girls I'm coaching. And then I got my daughter 8 a.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. Saturday. Then my son is kindergarten at noon on Saturday. So I got 4 games in about 12 hours. I feel pressure to play them more and play everybody equal. I can't even imagine the pressure Leon felt internally, obviously wanting his son to succeed. And for Max to overcome all that, he was a competitor. Man, did he deliver. I mean, one of my highlights was, I'll never forget, was going to the pit. And we flew into New Mexico. And the game that Max had, I felt like the proudest big brother telling everybody, sit your down.
That one he threw in the heave too later in the game. We're just kind of the and then I think San Diego State too. The bank in that he had. I mean he had a legend. Unbelievable.
And I'm glad.
And the other I was thinking the San Diego State home game the year before when he banked in one and had that huge run himself and stole it and laid it in. And then in overtime hit almost a half quarter to clinch that one.
I mean, I'm glad he signed. So he signed in Australia. So I don't think he'll leave till January. So we'll get him at some games, which will be a blast.
Yeah, I that's the one. It's gonna be weird tonight not seeing Max Rice out there. It just is.
He's been around for a long time, so that will be weird. But I think that everything is lined up really well for this team from a depth, dynamics, experience, leadership. I mean, there's no excuses. Yeah, I'll say that.
As I said, I know it's not. You have to play the games. It's not done on paper, but if you were ever to write out a storybook kind of thing, the way this season is setting up, it seems like this is finally the year. It really does. The way the schedule sets up, everything. I mean, it seems like this is the year.
And in Vegas, if you put $100 on Boise State to win the national championship in basketball, Derek might tell you this, you get $15,000. Not that I know, but that's just the number that's out there.
Hey, you better do it at Circa. Okay, so as we kind of wrap this up, I know you both have actual jobs today and stuff to do.
Can't work. I'm too excited.
All right. Yeah. Well, you told me 9:30. So
I thought we were going till 9 p.m. tonight.
Well, Matt can leave. We can keep talking. Yeah. But no, just in general, the season tonight, this program, the football success. I mean, we're just kind of to wrap it up the way we started. You guys can take it wherever you want. But obviously, it's a very exciting time for Boise State fans of all sports. I mean, soccer starts, I think, today in the Mountain West Championships as well. I mean, every sport's doing well, but football is rolling, basketball is rolling, and if you're a sports fan in Boise, Idaho, these next couple of months here are going to be a lot of fun.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'll kind of conclude, I guess, with a couple thoughts. One, as it relates to football, I mean, I tweeted a few weeks ago, just don't take it for granted. I mean, having this team and this running back and being able to enjoy it, we've got two more home games plus probably 3 more home games, maybe 4 more home games if we host in the college football playoffs. So just enjoy this time. And I think everyone is enjoying it and so excited. And we've been on both sides of the opportunity and expectation, right? We saw that those great Fiesta Bowl teams. We also saw the Kellen Moore team that lost to Nevada, right? And so this, we control our own destiny, but we have to go out and win. And I think what I've really noticed about this team that gives me a lot of, makes me really optimistic that they're going to finish this job is I feel like really for the first time since the Chris Peterson era, do we see a team that just seems to be playing really unselfishly, having a lot of fun, with a lot of confidence, but the right kind of confidence. And I just really sense a great aura around this team, again, in a way that I haven't really felt since the Chris Peterson time. So I'm really excited about that. And as it relates to basketball, I'd say the same thing. Like, I think that the program will continue to be on an upward swing. We've talked about how exciting the Pac-12 opportunity is, but as we've seen in football, these seasons don't come around every year. And Leon won't be here forever. We know Tyson is not going to be here forever. This is going to be a really special team, and I hope people really prioritize, getting to the arena. We should have every game sold out. We should have every seat filled. If you have season tickets,
not just sold out, filling the seat.
Right. I was just going to say,
that's a big part for me. I'm very curious tonight what the lower level looks like.
If you have season tickets and you can't go, get those tickets into someone else's hands. I mean, you can sell them now right through the Boise State Ticketmaster. You can go on and sell them, or give them to someone that can't go to the games or isn't, has never been to a game. But this team is too good and too elite. And you're talking about, what's arguably going to go down as the greatest player in the history of our school being on the court. Do not let tickets go to waste this season. Do not.
There's only a few more times to watch the football team, and there's only 16 home games, if I'm not mistaken. Last chance to watch the seniors. I would take advantage of it and embrace it, because we're living in special times. We've been through the ups and the downs. And the other thing I would say is be positive with the student athletes. Madsen's our quarterback. Back him like a family would back a brother or a sister.
Well, if you're not backing him now, you're not watching
He's
the
having
game.
one of the greatest seasons ever.
We have who we have, and support them.
Yeah.
Negativity. We have no time for negativity. We're trying to do something special, unprecedented, and it takes Bronco Nation to do that.
No, it's going to be an exciting next several months, busy several months for folks to go to all the games, do stuff like us, but it's going to be fun. Travis, I'm wearing the hat here real quickly. I know you're the NIL stuff. Give a quick plug for the Blue and Orange store and where folks can go and get all the Ashton Genty gear and all the NIL gear you guys have going on there.
Yeah, it's been awesome. We're seeing really come to fruition what the real original purpose of NIL was, which was this kind of market-driven opportunity for athletes. And it's been so fun this year to be able to sell all these Ashton Genty jerseys that have his name on it and that he benefits from, and that's a contrast to 2006 when we sold a lot of number 41 jerseys and Ian didn't benefit from that, right? And didn't have his name on it. So we've had a lot of fun with Ashton, with t-shirts and jerseys and all of the things that are going on. And then, just in general, I mean, you can feel it in this town. Boise State fans are just super excited. And so, we always love when people come to the Blue and Orange store at the mall or shop with us online. And obviously we're happy to support the school in lots of ways. Obviously with these player opportunities and the players benefit from all those, but also just donations that, we make to the collective to try and help get players to come here. And
I mentioned, Matt, you're now officially part of the Boise State, I don't know what the wording is, home team in terms of what you're doing. So you're backing it and you're doing it. And like I said, I saw firsthand, what it's like to work with your team to buy and sell a home. And I say it every day. And not just because you're a sponsor or whatever, friend, but it really was a great process. And I tell folks every day it's same thing. You got a lot of options in town to go buy Boise State gear. You got a lot of options in town, and everybody knows 5 friends that are realtors, but hopefully these 2 guys right here are the ones you guys are supporting and considering. And as I said, I know you guys got a lot of big things going on with what you're doing at Bauscher Real Estate.
We're excited. There's a lot of things to be excited about in this community, and we're definitely excited for the future.
Well, we got a lot of great sponsors, but 2 of the biggest ones are right here. So support these guys, support their businesses. They're putting the money back into Boise State, and a lot of the players on the court you're going to see tonight are because of these 2 guys right here. So return the favor, support their businesses, support them, and we appreciate you guys. Matt, thanks for letting us come out here today, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you tonight, Extra Mile Arena, 6:00. We'll be live with the pregame show, and we'll have all kinds of goodies there, show you warm-ups and get you set for tip-off, 7:00 tip-off. And then they turn around right on the road in a tough one against San Francisco on Saturday. And then you got Clemson next Sunday. And then BNN will be the only media outlet. I know folks say, a tough trip, but we're heading to the Cayman Islands to cover that tournament. So we will be giving full pregame, postgame from that tournament, which, with some teams backing out, they should probably win win that tournament. And you just hope they can take care of business here in the non-con. And they got St. Mary's and Washington State, and it's going to be a lot of fun to follow this team the next several months. So appreciate you guys. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll see you at 6:00 at Extra Mile Arena. Thanks to both these guys, and we will talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News live from Bauscher Real Estate here at BroncoNationNews.com.